could make it to this live event, sorry, I'm just kind of admitting people as we go as well. Thank you very much. I know I've set the meeting for 5:30 till 6, but I don't intend to use that long. 10 minutes should be enough. We'll just go through a bit of a plan of the trip, go through kind of some expectations, what people will need and things like that, and then I'll give you the chance to ask me any questions, or I'll give my email out at the end as well in case people don't feel comfortable asking questions on here, but they can come to them, or questions come to them later on. But hopefully we can clear up most things in a short meeting tonight. So this trip, and I say it to the students at the outset when I'm arranging it, it's probably it probably is my favourite few days of the year 12 calendar, to be honest. It's definitely has an impact. We've had students go to these specific universities, and I genuinely believe they perhaps wouldn't have gone to these universities had they not gone. We've had students that don't necessarily go to these universities, but weren't going to go to university and decide that they are now, and they have gone on to university. Likewise, I think it can go the other way, so if people were unsure, it can help make your mind up either way, because it just gives you a flavour of what it will be like to be a student. So first thing really, so the staff attending, I'll be attending. Sorry for those of you that have never sort of met me in person before, I'm Dean Tafe, I'm the head of sixth form. Mr. Child will be coming with me. He's our head of sport, and he's a sixth form tutor. And Hannah Hardcastle, Mrs. Hardcastle, will be attending. She's a sixth form teacher as well. So some of the students will be familiar with the staff attending already, and if not, it's a great chance to get to know each other over the course of the few days as well. Two of us are first aid trained, as you can see there, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Universities we'll be visiting are the University of Bath and Cardiff University. I've been to both these universities before. They're both absolutely fantastic, amazing facilities, both Russell Group universities. In the past, there's been more choice for students on this trip with regard to, we've had, students could go to Cardiff Met instead of Cardiff, and Bath to Bar instead of Bath University. This is probably the first year in 6 that I've run this trip where, for one reason or another, universities haven't been very forthcoming or very easy to access. Let's put it that way. But what I would say is these are both exceptional places, and whether you are thinking about going to these places specifically or not, you do get a flavour of university generally, and you do get a feeling for how it might be like studying in Bath or studying in Cardiff, which is a great thing, because lots of these students won't have been to a university before, or perhaps they will have been on a day trip or something like that, with either in the lower school or their previous school, over to Bournemouth, or one of the Southampton ones, one of the more local ones, but it's probably a bit more unlikely they've been further afield and seen these universities. I've got a question. We are going to Bristol. We're staying in Bristol, okay? But Bristol, that is Bristol universities are ones that have never had us. We try every year, and their outreach has got certain parameters, and unfortunately our school doesn't sort of within that. I think you need to be more local to Bristol. You need to sort of meet certain criteria. But we do spend a fair bit of time in Bristol, but we don't visit the Bristol universities. Now, some of Bristol University's facilities are open to the public, so there is various bits of free time where students can have a look and around them, but we won't be going in as such as part of the trip. Right, so these, like I say, they're my favourite. It's my favourite trip. It's great to see the universities. It's great to talk to the lecturers. It's great to talk to a lot of students, because when we go there, they do different things with us, but a lot of it involves student reps there, and so they get to speak to people that are closer to their own age, that are closer to that were in their shoes just a few years ago perhaps, and not just sort of old fuddy-duddies like myself, and it becomes a little bit more real for them. They can see the potential that's available to them, what they can do there, because it isn't just all about studying their course. It opens up a whole world of opportunities. it's a great opportunity because we're still, you know, quite early on in sixth form, so it's a great opportunity to get to know each other as well. And this last one, it's a big one, and people don't really think about it, but obviously if you select a university, and in this case it could be, you know, students might end up going to Bristol or Bath or Cardiff. Of course, it's at the forefront of your thoughts what course you want to do, and the course absolutely has to be right, but you're essentially committing to moving somewhere for 3 years. So it's important to see a place, to get a feel for if you want to go to a campus university or a city centre university. Do you want to go to a larger university or a smaller university? Any of this kind of information you can glean before you put in your UCAS applications, kind of this time next year that will be, is really helpful. And I know not going to open days all across the country isn't always possible. So trip like this is really helpful, I've found. Right, now the first day, right now I'll make an apology straight away. So I'll touch on the forms that need to come back later, but somebody flagged a mistake on one of the forms I gave out earlier on. There's kind of a behavior, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a behaviour expectations form basically, and not the date is from last year's trip, so it says the 6th from the 8th on it. So I think someone got a little bit of a fright thinking it was over the weekend. It's not. It's Wednesday the 4th until Friday the 6th. That is right, as advertised. It's just the letter that you've got today that is wrong. Day one, I mentioned how the universities haven't been as accommodating this time. Now, whilst the University of Bath have been able to have us, that's normally day one. But this time they can't. So we've had to kind of reshuffle things a little bit, and we are on the way up because it makes kind of logistical sense stopping in Bath. And that's where you're going to have your free time and you're going to see Bath. You know, there are lots of things you can do there. We'll give you a couple of hours there. It's up to you what you do. You know, students tend to go and get a bit lunch. They might want to have a look around the shops. We've had students go around the Roman baths. Disclaimer, there is a fee to get in there. There's a cathedral there as well. I'm not sure if Christmas markets will be around at that time, possibly. If so, Bath's really nice. So we'll do all of that on the way up, but we won't do Bath University until on the way back. I'll get to the Friday shortly. We'll get to Bristol kind of middle of the afternoon in plenty of time to check in, get ourselves settled into the hostel, which is the Bristol YHA right on the water. It's the accommodation we use every year. We've got an entire floor to ourselves, which is perfect. Then we've got an early dinner booked. It's very early. I think it's 4:30. The booking. The reason for that is they essentially do a student promotion, which goes until 5. So the bill's got to be. We don't have to finish by 5, but we have to it has to go through the till before 5. So we get in there at 4:30. That's been paid for already. So we have a big meal together. And then, of course, it's winter, so it's dark by then, by the time we come out of there, and we'll have a bit of an explore as a group around the local area to our hostel, show them where the shop is. We'll have just a look of within the proximity, a bit of an explore, but without going too far. And then students can have a bit of downtime, a bit of free time before going to bed, tired, hopefully. Day 2, breakfast at the hostel is both days. That's already included. We'll get the coach to Cardiff, firstly to Cardiff University at 9 a.m. We'll do our programme there. The programmes will be roughly the same at the university. So they always do a tour, so you get to look around, meet some student reps, and then there'll be various presentations on different things connected to student life. Generally, there might be a little bit of specifics to theirs, but it might be about student finance or choosing your university or higher education generally, or so we do that. And then we've got a short coach ride from Cardiff University into Cardiff City Centre. Again, similar model to Bath that afternoon, so again it's free time. Again, I've put some suggestions up there. I love Cardiff, I love Bath as well, but Cardiff's very different. But there's plenty for them to do. What we'll be doing as well is we'll be providing maps for the students with certain points of interest and suggestions as to what might be a good idea to check out, or to go and have a look for. We'll then get the coach back to Bristol, and then they'll get some evening free time to explore Bristol. They will be responsible for their own dinner that night. It's up to them where they go. In the past, there's this big, it's kind of an all-you-eat type place. It's a bit like, think Days, but kind of more, and it's not even Days anymore in Bournemouth, is it? But think a more kind of modern, trendy, probably a little bit more expensive as well, if I'm honest, version of Days, in just opposite, just the other side of the water from where the hostel is. I'll probably go there second night because I am very greedy. Not really. So food's very good, and students in the past have chose there. But likewise, you know, they don't necessarily have to go there. Right, day 3 again. 8 a.m. start. Breakfast at the hostel. You'll have a bit of an opportunity to have a look around Bristol and see Bristol in the daylight. Like I say, again, like the other 2 places, there's lots to see, and we'll be making, you know, suggestions. And on that first night, when we have a look around together, we can point various things out as well. But there's lots to do there. But at 11 a.m. we'll then be going. We'll start our journey back home, but we'll stop in Bath to see the University of Bath, and that's where we'll do that. 1 p.m. we'll depart Bath and be home, you know, in theory before 4, because Bath isn't 3 hours away, but traffic, you know, you know, I don't imagine it will be before 3. It'll probably be closer to 4. Our accommodation, as I've mentioned, it's the YHA. So if you want to Google it, it's the YHA on Bristol waterfront. It's, like I say, it's really good. We've always had a good time there. We get the whole floor. It's a mixture of ensuite rooms and shared facilities on the floor. We did a kind of bed plan exercise with the students a couple of weeks ago, so that they should all know their roomings by now and the situation with that. You will need to bring a towel. There is plenty of communal space in the hostel, so students, you know, when they get free time, if they, you know, it's cold, you know, it'll be winter, so, you know, they might want to go out and have a look around. They might want to come back to the hostel and hang out with their friends. There's like a nice mezzanine bit. There's a bit downstairs with comfy sofas and things like that. So there's plenty of communal space to be hanging around in the hostel. But it's like I say, it's in a really sort of central spot and a really good place to access lots of things around Bristol. I know I've mentioned various meals, breakfast both mornings included. So I'd have breakfast before you come in on Wednesday. Bring a packed lunch or bring money for the first day. We've got dinner included the first night, and then the Thursday you'll need your lunch and your dinner. Okay. On the way home, like I say, we won't be back until 4, so you get your breakfast. So you know, you'll probably want to pick something up as well that day. So it's just trying to total that up. You're looking at 1 dinner, okay, and you're looking at a lunch on the Wednesday, a lunch on the Thursday, and a lunch on the Friday. So 3 lunches. Okay. Right. Behavior expectations. I think the biggest thing here I'd like to stress, and I will do this to the students. This is all about the students. And to be fair, we've never been let down in the past, and I don't expect it to be the case this time. Is whilst we have a whole floor in the hostel, it's public. It's a public space. There are people in the floor below. There are people on the floor above. You know, there is lift access to our floor. You know, the communal spaces are public. The breakfast facilities are public. So people have to act in a respectful way, because if we get complaints, that's a real issue. You know, it's all common sense stuff. It's about just being polite and courteous and understanding that people have paid there to sleep, and after you know, and not to run around and be noisy full stop really, but certainly after a certain time, you know, people should be concentrating on going to sleep themselves and not disturbing others that are trying to sleep. A general rule, well, the 9 p.m. and the 11 p.m. aren't general rules of thumb. I mean, we do say when we do free time, we want you back in the hostel at 9 p.m. and then it's a kind of a lights out situation at 11 p.m. because we do have them 8 a.m. starts. And yeah, normal, you know, you are representing yourselves, you're representing us, you represent your family. Just, you know, you're out in public, you know, be your absolute best is what I would say. Now, linked to that, there is a couple of forms to complete. Code of conduct form, that's what I was talking about that earlier on. That's the one that's got the incorrect date on it. There's a medical form, the 2 paper forms are give out in assembly this morning, so they need to come back as soon as possible. Host families can complete them for visiting students, but if they can come back as soon as possible, if any remaining payments can be done as soon as possible. I believe bursaries are just being paid off automatically. I'm just going to put this up now. It's not to scare people. I just want to be upfront. So in the code of conduct form, there is this line: if a child is seen to breach the agreed conduct, he or she may be sent home at your expense, collected by yourself, and or banned from future trips. Now, it's not, like I say, it's not a scare tactic. We've never had to do it before. I'm not expecting it to happen, but it's just to make you all aware as parents that, you know, if something happens and someone does something they absolutely shouldn't and they need to go home, we as 3 members of staff are not in a position to bring them home. So that would be your responsibility to arrange or to collect. But like I say, that's just a bit of a disclaimer, and I don't expect it to be the case. Right, I've gone on for longer than the 10 minutes promised, quite a bit longer, but are there any questions? Right, okay, that's silence is telling me no. I'll leave that email there for a few more seconds just in case. I mean, many of you can email me anyway, but just in case anything comes up between now and we're a few weeks yet away, aren't we? So but yeah, it's a fantastic trip. I'm so glad you're all coming along, and I'm sure you'll all get something out of it. But thank you once again for attending the meeting tonight. That's much appreciated. Take care. Bye bye.
Well done, sir.